Good morning, everybody. Let me welcome you in the name of SAP Saudi and All for One Poland. My name is Joanna Michon, and I'm privileged to be the host and moderator of this webinar. First, a few information from the technical team before we start. First, if you have any questions, just place them in the chat window. Feel free to do that. The chat window is for you. Just us will see the questions, so not all the audience. We will collect all issues and answer them in the Q&A session in the end. Second information, the webinar is recorded, so you can get back to it or resend it in your organization whenever you feel it's necessary. You will receive the link to the film in the follow-up email from us. So, today's webinar addresses a significant challenge that many IT managers face: how to successfully migrate to SAP S/4HANA. In this session, we aim to show you how to achieve this migration in a way that is effective, financially efficient, minimizes business downtime, and ensures a successful go-live. We'll focus on a migration approach that can deliver these results, the transformational approach. We would like to recommend this approach for your consideration. So, when is this approach most beneficial? It's ideal when you have a complex SAP landscape, such as multiple SAP systems that you want to consolidate into one, or when you have an extensive historical data spanning many years that you wish to get rid of. This might include data from business units you no longer use, or outdated data from over a decade ago, or data from modules that have been phased out. This transformational approach is also valuable when you need to undertake multiple projects alongside the migration. For instance, if you plan to restructure your organization, execute a carve-out, or harmonize master data like business partners and materials, this method allows you to do so. So in essence, the transformational approach is recommended for these scenarios, leveraging the right know-how and selective data migration tools. Yes, and speaking of tools, let me draw a comparison. Perhaps this comparison might seem unusual, but the tool I'm thinking of is magnificent. It's an astronomical instrument dating back to ancient time, developed by Arabic scientists during the Islamic Golden Age, incorporated later by European scientists, known as the astrolabe. The astrolabe was crucial for navigation and finding the way on the ground. For example, a 10th century astronomer, I will read it, Abd al-Rahman al-Sufi, described over 1,000 applications for its various functions. It's a truly magnificent tool. Nowadays, companies also navigate and often struggle with their IT projects. Thankfully, we have modern astronomers in the IT world who know how to guide these projects with the appropriate selective data migration tools. With that, let me introduce our distinguished panelists for today. Michael Zemke from All for One. He and his team performs S/4HANA migrations for the customers on a daily basis. And Mohamed Sakalah from SPP Saudi, who assists our Saudi customers in discovering the road to SAP S/4HANA. Now, I'd like to hand over to our first speaker, Mr. Mohamed. He will start with a short introduction of our companies. Mohamed, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Joanna, for the introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and appreciate your appearance today for this webinar, and I hope it will be useful to everyone. صباح الخير لكم جميعا، وبتمنى إن شاء الله أنكم تستفيدوا وتستمتعوا في هالويبينار. My name is Mohamed Sakalah, the board advisor of SPP Saudi Arabia, a digital transformation company that delivers enterprise IT solutions to entities in Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries. We digitalize companies, provide various SAP solutions, and developing a custom-made softwares. We deliver all this cutting-edge IT services with our partners, European partners, or for one group who were rated as #1 as SAP partner in Europe in terms of potential, customer service, sales volume, with around 3,000 employees. Moreover, being a listed company in Frankfurt stock market positions the company at the top of the software consultation market worldwide, and their headquarter in Germany and biggest subsidiary in Poland, all for one group, were able to increase its customer competitive advantages by supporting their digital transformation journey all the way to go live. And now allow me to introduce Mr. Michael, who will dive a little, deeper in the subject of migration to S/4HANA. Michael, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Mohammed. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Let me introduce my part of that presentation. So, first of all, I'm the team leader of the transformation team in Poland. I'm specializing in the logistics currently. You can also use your phone to scan this QR code on the slide, so you can go to the we deliver, let's say, better business. We just run yearly, and we collected all the best articles from experts regarding the transformations and also the services we can provide to you. And this is fully in English, so you can easily go and navigate through the specific article you are interested in. Let me introduce the team we have for the transformations. So basically, we are doing one go live with the S/4HANA transformation every month currently. So the team is working really on the full speed currently. We did so far 70 plus migrations to the S/4HANA. And many of them is already a successful story for us. We are working in the 5 teams in the country. We spread around the country. And the biggest project we did so far as a big bank was the client with 64 countries. And we were doing the transformation over one weekend for all of those 64 countries. And currently we are hiring 55 plus specialists who are working on a daily basis to do the transformation projects. If we, let's say, focus on the agenda for today, I will touch a couple of topics. I will introduce briefly the transformation platform. I will talk about the consolidation of the project with the Bluefield approach, and we will talk about some specific topics for the S/4HANA, like the consolidation and harmonization of the business partner. And we will talk about how do we handle the data structure with the help of the domain usage, and what are the tools which are supporting us, like the migration of the industry-specific solution. So all these kind of namespaces which you can identify in the system. So we have also the solutions to migrate these types of data from the source to the target system. And I will talk also briefly about the lessons learned from the projects which are already completed. And also I can try to answer all your questions which can arise during this presentation. Let's talk about the Crystal Bridge platform. So this is a central point of every single transformation we do with our clients. So this is the platform we can access from any location around the world, and we can present to the clients, to our partners, results of the system scan, which is the standard tool we initiate when we start with the project together with the client. Inside of that platform, we can find all types of different reports which support the transformation. We can also request to use the interface discovery to check what are the interfaces used in your SAP landscape or outside of the SAP landscape. And we can visualize them for the better understanding exactly what has to be migrated and how. We also can present the cloud solution, so we can do the assessment with the price, which you will be able to see immediately on the screen. And we have a lot of reports, hundreds of reports, which can support the preparation for the project. Also, the Crystal Bridge platform can be used to visualize your company. As you can see on the bottom right side, there is a geographical mapping which is representing how big your company is. And those different colors means what is the size of the company in that specific location. More red means more company codes are located in that specific location. And we can also use that Crystal Bridge platform to decide what will be in the scope for the data migration. So if we will decide not to select all of the company codes which are available in the system, then we can narrow down the selection for all those connected reports. And what you can see on the screen is only part of the information which we can present. But the most important will be, of course, the company location, organization structure, organization units, usage in time, because if the customer would like to use the time slice approach, then this is important to make an analysis which organization units are used in the specific time. This can be set on the yearly basis, and we can also use this as a selection criteria for the data migration. The module usage, usage metrics, master data counts, customer transactional, or let's say customer tables solutions. These are the tools which can help you to visualize exactly what is currently used within your system. And based on that, we can define the precise scope for the data migration. We can also visualize the business processes. We can try to transfer and transform these business processes to, let's say, better needs, especially including to the S4HANA approach. We have an access to the simplification list items depending on the version of the S4HANA system. And based on that, we can decide which of them are important and needed to, let's say, to do the successful project. We also represent data management approach, so we can organize the housekeeping activities to clean up some old data or not needed. And we can also present for the near zero downtime scoping. So we can even, let's say, decide to do the project with limited downtime of your production system. And these reports, of course, I will not be able to present all of them, but the visualization, of course, I didn't choose the graph pictures, the biggest one, because there are so many complicated to display at small screen. But just to give you an idea how it is organized. So first, what we can see is what are the modules which are used within your system. This is the top left screen here on the top. And with that, we can easily see what the customer is using in his current system, right? And below that, we can go into the level of the component. Below the component, we have tables. Tables represent the transactional data or transactional master data table. And we can also see what are the configuration table, including the customer tables with the Z or Y namespace. And we can also go to the add-ons like to the industrial solution and see all these kind of structures immediately in the system. We can also do the sizing of your database, which can be then used later on to, for example, propose, let's say, switch to the cloud solution. And we can do the proper sizing depending on your, let's say, requirements. We see all the organization structures and we can visualize them. So there is a way to focus on specific organization unit type. We can also see in the organization unit usage, what are the, let's say, organization units used in time. I didn't have it on the screen, but you can imagine that the user can choose depending on the time. So last 2 years or 10 years ago, you can see how the organization was using the organization units. And which is most important is that inside of that reports, after the system scan, we have a direct access to the simplification item list. which are divided by the components and modules, and we have a direct link also to the SAP node, where we can check exactly what is the activity required. And those reports also support us in the area that, let's say, we split for those simplification items which are required and those which can be skipped or, let's say, additionally taken into account. And we use those simplification item lists to prepare the target system, which will be the new S4HANA system, depending on the HANA version that will be agreed within the project scope. Looking at the cloud move and the cloud solution, we have a set of supporting reports which can scan your current database based on the data we extracted, and then you can decide what will be the setup for the cloud move, and then you will see immediately what will be the proposed pricing model for you. And then you can decide if you want to take the subscription for 1 year, for 3 years, if you would like to pay hourly or monthly. So you can decide, and based on that, we can immediately calculate the price for you, which can help you to make the decision what should be, let's say, the approach going to the cloud. We present the Azure cloud with that tool, but of course, any cloud type can be selected. Public cloud or private cloud can be selected. So this will be, I would say, more or less a comparison tool, what you can expect when you will decide to go to the cloud solution. It's not required, not mandatory, but this is additional asset to the project management, which can be used to discuss that possible approach with the customer. Let's go to the solutions we have. So first of all, Bluefield approach allow us to consolidate multiple projects. And if you can see on the slides, we have a couple of things selected, like the data archiving, enhancement pack update, or Unicode conversion, new GL conversion, or for example, brownfield conversion if it was required, doing the business partner implementation, because as you know, if you have an ECC system and you want to go to the S4HANA, first you need to introduce the business partner. Then we have this business transformation, like process reorganization or organization structure changes, carve-outs, mergers, acquisitions, this kind of stuff. And you can also have a need to do the cloud migration. And with a Bluefield approach and with the Crystal Bridge platform, you can integrate all of these projects into one simple go live. So you can have everything at once. And we can guarantee that the transformation at the end during the go live weekend will not exceed 48 hours. So this will be the maximum downtime which we can offer for any kind of, let's say, size of the organization, small, middle one, or the biggest companies. And we can do the transformation projects in waves, or we can do the transformation project as a big bang approach, and we can migrate and move all these organization units at once. So this is very important to understand that we are very flexible at this stage, but this stage needs to be discussed and agreed before the project starts, because when we already started the project, then it's difficult, let's say, to make the modification, for example, to switch from the standard approach to the near zero downtime, because we need to bring new objects into the consideration, and we need to start to, let's say, build this kind of objects. So if the customer, of course, will decide in the middle of the project, then it can be an issue, but all the issues are for the, let's say, for the solution. So the most issues we can identify, the better solution we can give. Also, the Bluefield approach is the type of the approach which is fully automatized, which means that we focus to build rules, and we focus to build the mapping rules also, separately for the export of the data and also for the import for the data. And these rules stays inside of the transformation scenario, which can be then reused for the next test migration phase. Typically, we do 5 test migration bays, starting from the build, followed by the test migration 1, test migration 2, go live simulation, and then we reach out to the go live part. But depending on the size of the customer, of course, this number of the test migrations can be increased or decreased, and this will implicate the duration of the project. So depending on the size of the customer, depending on the requirements, and depending on the number of the test migration, this, let's say, duration of the project can be shortened, middle one, or can be increased, depending on the customer. Okay, let me talk to the first important topic. So the consolidation and harmonization of the business partner from the multiple systems in example. The Bluefield approach allows us to migrate the data from multiple source systems. And you can imagine that as multiple productive system will be merged into the one. And you would like to also make the consolidation of those customers and vendors, which you bring from those satellite systems. And with this approach, we can propose the cleansing for the customer, for the vendor, or for the existing business partner. We can even delete those data from the system, depending on the project type. Like, for example, if the customer decided to do the carve-out and selling of his part of the business, then the new company who will acquire this data would like to clean up those data from the old system as well, right? So we can also propose it as a solution and prepare it. We do the consolidation of the CVI link data for the customers, for the vendors, and it's up to the customer requirement how these links will be built up. We can decide of doing different, let's say, harmonizations, like one-to-one, where we can decide that one business partner will be equal for the customer and for the vendor. You can have one-to-one for customer, one-to-one for vendor, and then we can try to link them with the business partner. And you can also decide to do some kind of mappings like N-to-1, and based on that, we prepare the configuration. Based on that, we prepare the rules which are dedicated for that, and then we execute them. Each kind of BP harmonization can be part of the project. I will give you, let's say, a couple of examples, right? So you have this organization, you can have this business or person, and we can also define the way that, let's say, even you would like to change the role for the existing business partner to be treated in a different way, right? So we can also create some data on the fly, depending on the requirements. We can do the mappings, we can do the harmonization of this data. We can also help you to clean up some gaps if needed, but this has to be scoped individually for the project. So there is no, I would say, a golden rule for that, how much complicated it will be, because I can always answer it depends. Depends on your, let's say, size of your data, depends on the, let's say, typical errors or missing data you have in the system. And based on that, we will just prepare the solution which will fit to your requirements. And of course, we do the business partner conversion for the S4HANA projects, right? So if we do the S4HANA project, then that part is automatically included into the scope for the project, and we create those data together with the customer, together with the partner. Okay, and how do we do that? This is very important to understand that in SAP, every field can be assigned to so-called data element, and you can have multiple different fields which are connected to the same data elements, and you can have also a group of similar data elements which at the end can connect to that domain. And we use this approach to do the changes to the data we move from the old ECC system to new S4HANA system. And we use it for the mapping tables, we use it for the prefixes, we use it to changing the target tables, so we can transfer the data from one table to another table. We do that approach also to execute the renumbering of the technical elements in the namespace, in the number ranges. And this is very important to understand that. What is the, let's say, power of, let's say, using the domain approach here, or the data element or the fields, is that we can decide what and where do we change in the system. If we follow the standard approach with the domain and we change, for example, the ID of the organization unit from one value to another value, then with that approach you can be secure that we will adjust that number in every single location when that value is used in the system. And I'm not talking only about the single fields, which is directly connected to the domain, but I'm talking about offsets, which are the concatenation of the strings, which are representing different data from the system. So we are able to identify this kind of area and adjust them immediately. So at the end, we can bring the harmonization to the structure of the, let's say, customer requirements, and it can touch almost every area of the system: customer, vendor, material, pricing. We can change also the data in the transactional documents, so they will look like at the end as you were then using for the last 20 years. So we can do that. We can also use this approach to present selective data based on the time slice, based on the documents which were created within the special time frame. And we can link those data also between different modules. And if needed, we adjust the standard rules to cover some special requirement from the customer. We also have the solutions for the industry specifics, and there are more than already prepared 150 objects which support the migration of it. And I'm talking about the healthcare, oil, financial, automotive, industry solutions from different area. Very common namespaces like vStex or OpenText or student lifecycle management. So this kind of things we can propose immediately to the customer. And if something is not listed, then we can build up a new migration object and prepare the rules which will support the data migration for that. So we are already ready with that, yeah. Migrating the customer tables, Z tables, Y tables are also part of the migration project. And for that scope, we need to always build it up, because there is never a same customer in the market who is using exactly the same solutions. So this is something we do especially for every single customer, for every single project individually. And we present the migration objects and the approach together with the customer, together with the partner. Okay, so from the selected transformation projects, I can present you, let's say, a couple of companies which we already doing the project or done the project, or we will do the project in future. And as you can see, most of them are the, let's say, companies you can recognize from different area like automotive or healthcare or other industry solutions. But you can also imagine that we are doing the worldwide project together with the big companies which are not listed on that page, but we are doing also big banks with Bosch or ABB, or we can go with NXP. And we are working with the worldwide partners together to prepare the solution for the projects. And we can, in fact, start the project with the small companies, with the middle-sized companies, and also with the big companies. And depending on the requirements, then we build up the team. And the team is important because we always work as a team, and we do the project together with the client or including also with a partner. And together we can deliver. And this is the most important message I would like to pass to you. We always deliver. There were never a project that we didn't succeed so far in the history of that company. And I'm talking not only about the history of our company, of our small team, but I'm talking about the company in general. For the last 25 years, they are doing the transformation projects, and all of these projects has been successful so far. And we have the know-how, we have the knowledge, and we can use the experience of the colleagues who were participating in those transformation projects. And yeah, I think they finished more than 12,500 projects with a successful result in the transformation. And even if we will, let's say, find some obstacles inside of the project, and even if those issues will be critical at the beginning, we always find out the solution at the end. So please remember that, especially that our mission is to satisfy the customer, and our mission is to also to do the transformation in 48 hours as a maximum downtime, and we always deliver that time is reached. And many times we are able to shorten the downtime to minimum, and we can even finish the transformation much earlier. So this is what I wanted to present to you. And if we talk about projects which we already succeeded, so for example, in Saudi Arabia, for I would say complex harmonization of the business partner, we were doing the project together with the clients, including different modules, but the most important was the student lifecycle management, which is the namespace designed for, let's say, to support universities, and the customer requested to use the harmonized and unique ID for the business partner across the system, not only in SAP but also outside of the SAP, and we were supporting to deliver this together with the team. And Bluefield helped us to execute that project, and we were also touching some different area like funds management, grants management, open text, and RefX, so flexible real estate management. So these kind of things were in addition are creating the, let's say, complexity of the project. And together with the client directly, and together with the fantastic team, we were able to deliver the solution exactly as it was requested. And the project is already completed. Customer is very happy of the results, and they can start the new adventure already in the S/4HANA system. And so, yeah, very good, successful to the team. Another example, Vorwerk Pharma, successful migration to the S/4HANA. And we were making the transformation together with the adapting of the business processes to the new platform. And there was also a selective data migration approach, including the organization units and the time slice. Account plan adjustment was one of the key elements for that project to change the financial reporting. And yeah, we were changing the books to the ledger approach. And we were doing also big bang go live for that customer worldwide. So this is also something interesting to remember. And we were also asked to implement additional Fiori applications solutions, especially for the Q times P process validation. For the GNP, sorry, GNP, not Q times P. I'm mixing a little bit the logistic approach there. BOMAC, another, let's say, customer with the big bang approach. So we were doing the transformation, including the harmonization of the business partner. So similar to what I was explaining a few slides ago. And we were also implementing new Fiori applications, mainly in the financial area. And the project duration, for example, here was 14 months, but this is because of the size of the BOMAC group. Yeah, very good project, by the way. Clean path migration also to the S/4HANA. So this is an example of the project which we can deliver in 4 months, for example. So you see that we were using also the Azure cloud together with the customer. Of course, we created the business partner for the S/4HANA because the customer was not using the business partner before the project. And we also agreed that there will be some further changes and new S/4HANA functionalities implemented as a separate project. Depending on the business roadmap the customer delivered beginning to us. And yeah, that's all from my side so far. So now we will switch to the Q&A parts, and we will try to answer the questions. Okay, so let me wait for a moment if I will be able to see some coming questions. Okay, I got one.
I've passed a few to you. Yeah, thank you, the audience.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us your questions. Now I have distributed the questions, and Michael, yeah, can you
Okay, so
answer
there is a
them? Just
question.
maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me read the question first, and then I will try to answer that. How Crystal Bridge deal with Z tables in the migration from ECC to Prime to S4? On-premise, probably it was mentioned. So when we start the project, we start with the Crystal Bridge platform, and we send to the client transport, which can introduce the system scan tool. This is the scan extractor, which we ask customer to implement in his productive system. And that program only counted the data. We do not know the value of the data. We only count the data. The only, let's say, exception is to the organization units, because we need to identify them. But in terms of the, let's say, your transactional data, we only count the numbers, but we do not know exactly what that means. And we collect those data back to the Crystal Bridge platform to visualize scan results. And one of the reports we have are representing the customer solutions, like the Z tables, Y tables. And with that, we can build up exactly the structure and the needs which is needed to migrate those data. And with the simple report, you can see the list of all these tables, including the, let's say, the number of records from your database. And you can see to which, let's say, components these customer solutions belongs to. You will be able to see also the technical information about the data. So the size of the table, number of records, what is the delivery class. And based on that, we can define which tables we will include into the migration transformation projects. Okay. I got also another question. What is the project duration for middle-sized company? I would say it depends on the database size, the company codes, or which will be in the scope for the data migration. We always start with the company codes, because based on that we can define the full scope of the data we have to migrate. Mostly we migrate everything inside of the company code, like the sales organization, plans, purchasing organization, etc. And of course, it can depend based on the, let's say, project requirement, like time-based selection or full historical data migration. Mostly, well, I would say from 5 to 6 months, it should be enough to do the migration project for the middle-sized company. If the customer will be, I would say, a big bank and a worldwide company with multiple countries, sometimes this size of the duration can increase. Okay. Do you implement migration solution through your own team or through third companies? Okay. Well, in fact, when we start the project, we are ready to do everything on our side. And depending, of course, on the scope, we take the responsibility from the beginning till the end. And we can design, of course, some kind of split for the teams. I will give you an example. In the past, we were doing the project when one of the team was responsible for the data migration, and the second team was responsible for the configuration of the system, of the target system, because customer decided to redesign the configuration. And we can also fit the project to work, let's say, together to prepare the system before we will load the data back to that system. Maybe I didn't mention that, but with the Bluefield approach, we build up the target system out of your productive system, but without the master data and without the transactional data. And then this system is already, let's say, ready with the same configuration as you were using in your ECC system. And then we convert that system to S/4HANA to the specific version, right? So we apply the simplification items, we modify the configuration, and such system, when it's already ready in the specific S/4HANA version, then we reuse in every single test migration to load with the data from the ECC system. So we take the master data, we take the transactional data, and we migrate and convert those data to the new structures in the S/4HANA. Okay, I have another question. Besides data migration, can you also integrate S/4HANA with MES software? Yes, it is possible to do that. I don't know the details by myself because I was not participating in this kind of project, but I heard already from my colleagues in Germany that it's possible to do it in that way as well. Okay. Let me check if new questions will arise. Yeah, I have one more question. How about to handle new requirement within the project? In an example, just before the go live simulation phase. Yeah, so of course it depends on the scope. Mostly we can handle this, let's say, type of requirements with the additional change request, and then we decide together with the customer if that will require, for example, additional test migration. It depends on the critical, let's say, effect on the business. And sometimes we agree with the customer, okay, we can take it as additional change request, but we will implement a solution for that just right after the go live. And this will be covered within the hypercare period, which starts just right after the system is moved back from us to the client. And then we can work it out on this solution. Okay, let me check if there are more questions. Okay, I do not see that question, any new question. So, okay,
I have one.
You have one, okay?
Yeah. Michael, yeah, you mentioned that your team always deliver. Yeah, you always deliver the project. So can you remind me how many years of experience, how many projects have you performed already, or the organization with a successful go live, and how many years? Yeah, because this promise must be based on some facts, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned
the team in Poland is built up since end of 2017. And we build up the team with a couple of people. Right now we are more than 55 persons, and for more than 6.5 years we are doing the transformation projects with a bluefield approach. And well, I cannot give you the exact number of projects I did because I already stopped to count them, but I can give you an example that there was a 1 year in the past that I was doing 6 go lives at the same weekend for the customers, different customers around the world. So it is possible also to do the work in parallelization because, like I said, a full automatization is built up with the Crystal Bridge. Which means that we do not have to reinvent the wheel during the go live. Everything is prepared. We are only there, let's say, to support just in case something will arise, which is critical, which can damage the, let's say, the scope of the execution of the activity plan. So we need to react, of course, immediately, but most or less everything is prepared. We repeat everything we, let's say, did so far before the go live simulation ended, right? So that's the way, that's the approach. But if anything will arise, because it's always a matter of, let's say, situation, then we have the resources, we have the know-how, how to react, and we have also ABAPers ready with knowledge who can support, let's say, even over the night to step in, take a look what is wrong, and support and fix. So we are ready to do that.
Yeah, so it's not a promise to deliver. It's actually based on a fact that through all these years, there always have been a successful go live, and the customer is satisfied.
And this is exactly what we do. We are a customer-oriented team, and we deliver exactly what is requested from the migration. Of course, we stick to the blueprint and to what is requested from the beginning, but Even if something will change, we are open for the changes. We never say no. Like I said, it's always a matter of time and money. So if you are willing to pay for that, we are willing to support it. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, thank you for this information, for this message, because I can imagine through all these projects, hundreds or maybe thousands. Yeah, you mentioned that, and you showed us the customer logos. There must have been some critical situations, and you always coped, yeah, with this. So it's very comforting.
Yeah, I can say from my experience that the project without issues is a very bad project, because then we can expect that something will go wrong at the end. But well, I can give you an example from the project we did. We did the go live. I think it was 2nd of January current year. This was a big bank go live, and we were doing that very complex change, which SAP said to the customer, it's not possible to do it. And this was the message. Before the customer, together with the partner, came to us, guys, we want to introduce parallel valuation and multiple currencies for all our companies around the world. And we would like to switch from Chinese yen to US dollar for all of these companies, depending on the different scenarios. And we want to do it from doing the project ECC to S4HANA. And SAP says, no, you need to do it in ECC as a separate project. Then you need to plan to move to the S4HANA. And we take the challenge. I was responsible to implement that solution directly. And I can tell you one thing. Over 60 company codes, 500 plans, no issues after the go live. Everything was ready. Everything. So we are ready to deliver.
I'm speechless.
Really, really all kind of requirements, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what can I say, Mohammed? Maybe you would like to also to welcome and to thank you everybody for listening, or to tell something at the end to close.
Yeah. Thank you guys from Poland, Michael, Joanna, and all the team for organizing this, and also thank you for the audience for their time. And I would like to hear from the audience if they like us to organize any future webinar in any different subjects. So we will be very happy with our partner All for One to organize any webinar that you guys are interested to know more about it. All for One, very expert company in different areas, and I believe they will be also very pleased to organize such seminars or webinars for the subject that you are interested in. Thanks again, guys, and happy Eid to everyone. We are approaching next in a few days we have Eid holiday, Saudi Arabia, so we will see you after Eid.
So I
can add on that, if there will be any questions which were not asked during that let's say webinar, feel free to send it out to our team, and we will collect and answer all these questions and deliver the answers to you, so you can get more familiar with that. Like I said, the slide, my first slide, there was a QR code. Go there to see the better business articles, and you can, let's say, review multiple topics from the transformations, and not only, but also there will be topics from the cloud solutions or from the dedicated solutions, so you can really get familiar with our company and what we can offer to you. So feel free to use it, and let's build up the connection and the network, and let's work together in the future.
Yeah, I think we can just roll to the last slide and say goodbyes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Sorry, I was too quick. I was too quick. Sorry for that. Let me do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
So if any questions was unanswered, I think we are 5 minutes after the time, so we will answer for the question directly to you. And once again, whenever you feel to contact us, just write us an email. You'll have the email in the chat. You had it on the screen, and you will also got information from us, a follow-up information with all this contact details. So thank you and see you soon.
شكرا.
Thank you.